August 2021, 6 of us decided to backpack the Enchantments together. It was the longest hike any of us had ever done, along with the hardest backpacking trip any of us had ever done. For some, this was their first backpacking trip. It was actually a recipe for great success. Everyone got along really well, but it was definitely an experience that we will never forget.
What's in its lips?
Cheers.
Oh, hey.
You gonna get another one?
Am I supposed to bring that little block of cheese?
You can if you want.
Carrying the
Cheers.
Playmate.
Cheers.
Strap it to your bag, baby.
Oh, you're filming.
Ooh,
I see.
Oh. I know.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's gonna be great.
We woke up early Monday morning at about 4 a.m., hit the trail by about 5, and were on the way well before sunrise. The whole Enchantments hike is part of the Alpine Lakes Wilderness and starts off with Colchuck Lake. It's about 2,300 elevation gain and a few miles to start and warm your legs up. The crew's minimum backpacking weight was about 35 pounds for the women and was around 55 pounds for men. And we know that that's a lot, but when this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, very likely, we wanted to have a good time and bring things to do all the extracurriculars that we loved, like fishing, drinking wine, and cooking some really good food. And it was absolutely worth it. About this hike in general was that there was water everywhere. And with today's high-tech gizmos and gadgets, we were able to filter all of our water and never had to carry more than a couple liters. That makes a huge difference in your pack weight, especially if you're going to be climbing Asgard Pass, which we did after a very small break in Colchuck. We are about 3.5 miles in, and we have about half a mile to go for Colchuck. Everybody's feeling pretty good. We're all puffy. So puffy. It's probably an easy ask, why did you get up so early? That seems a little bit crazy, but not having to yield to lines and lines of people and not having to sweat out all of our water, because Leavenworth gets pretty hot during the day, was definitely worth it for us. And besides, we wanted to get to camp before sunset, which already proved to be an issue, which you will see very shortly. around 10 a.m. we arrived. It was a little bit longer timing than we thought, but once we found a good spot along the lake, shoes came off, snaps came out, fishing poles were extended, and we took a well-deserved rest in about maybe 4 miles out of the 9 we were going to do that day. And we're heading up Asgard Pass, and it's about 12:30, so it's gonna be warm, but it's not as hot as it usually is, and also there's a nice wind. It's so pretty. Here we go. We're having so much fun.
Much fun.
This is the, yep. Here we go, I guess. Where do I go? Yep. As it turned out, Asgard Pass is a little bit further away than we had thought. There was a boulder field we had to cross, and no one could pass up the beautiful beach tucked right at the end of Colchuck Lake with that big view of Asgard Pass in front of us. So, after navigating some dicey boulders, we decided to stop there too. Then it was finally time to take on Asgard Pass. I think some people may have been too nervous and some not enough because it was much more challenging than a lot of people expected, but completely doable because it wasn't necessarily a physical challenge as much as it really was a mental challenge to just keep looking up the whole time and know eventually we would make it. We should be at the end, but this is going up there. I think everybody's just ready to eat and hang out, and it's just so beautiful that we can't complain because it's amazing. is so cheesy to say, but those steps and turning around that giant boulder, there was almost a part of us that couldn't believe we were at the top. Carrying weight behind you makes for such a challenging hike, and we never really noticed it until you're climbing straight up for a mile. But we had done it. We had made it. It was freezing cold at this point. The wind was crazy. But you walked out into this other world. And we knew that this was just getting started and the beauty was going to get even better. It was so incredible. Mile away. The crew had been hiking since 4 a.m. that morning, and the sun started to set around 7 p.m. But just as we thought everyone might give up on us, we rounded a windy corner, scrambled a final boulder field, and found our camp for the whole center core, in between Perfection and Inspiration Lakes. Spoiler alert, it was magnificent. And our evenings, we would all circle up as a crew around our non-existent campfire, tell stories, laugh, and occasionally be met by snow.
Camelbacks are so last decade.
I know, I was looking at mine was so nasty.
dogs have had it twice. So.
I'm out in the colors.
Center Core, we decided to adventure out slightly, climb Prusik Pass, check out a lunch spot on the lake near Perfection, and do a little exploring around. After a very relaxing siesta by Perfection Lake, we definitely still wanted to climb up to Prusik Pass and see Temple Mountain. So it was time to head out and on to the next hike. What are we hiking? Prusik Pass? Peak? Because Asgard wasn't enough. Oh, it's gonna be so great.
Blueberry wine!
And then we're gonna eat queso and a burger. That's really good. third night we spent in the Enchantments marked our last night in the core. So we stayed up really late, spent some quality time together, and looked up a lot at the stars. We have left Inspiration and Perfection Lakes.
Hey-ho.
We're still alive, and our view's pretty good. So good. Okay, bye. After descending thousands of feet out of the core, we arrived in the Snow Lake Permit area. This is one of the last areas you get to prior to exiting the Enchantments. A lot of people actually come in this way, but we preferred to get Asgard Pass out of the way in the beginning. This is our campsite between Upper and Lower Snow Lakes, about 8.5 to 9 miles away from our exit point in the Enchantments. It was actually really cool. Looked a bit like a pirate cove, had ample fishing, some sandy shores for the boys who laid out all night under the stars, and it was a good way to say goodbye to a beautiful place.
Actually, a big group that walked by and they were commenting. They're like, those people are doing it right.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Almost as though we had lived a tiny mini lifetime in the span of 5 days. Our fourth night was over, our fifth morning had begun, and it was time to pack up and prepare for our long trek off the mountain. message. Okay, bye. We are close.
I hope so.
Secret time, we were only steps away and we didn't even know it. We hit a tiny rock climb right at the very end that almost broke our hearts. But then we saw the parking lot and it was great. Well, we did it, along with, I know, millions of other people, but to us, it felt pretty special and we were very proud of ourselves. It was an awesome adventure. Cheers.